Okay, so last week we have stopped in the middle. Let's continue from here. Right, worst case scenario, hydrogen sulfide mass extinction. This is from global warming. Okay, so global warming, if the CO2 level reach 1,000 parts per million, the ocean warms, less ocean goes to the bottom of the ocean. Bacteria that produces hydrogen sulfide takes over decay. So all the decay of organic matter, which usually is taken by normal bacteria, is that requires oxygen. In the presence of less oxygen, this bacteria that produces hydrogen sulfide takes over. Hydrogen sulfide kills all oxygen-breathing life. So if enough of this bacteria takes over, then it will fill the ocean with hydrogen sulfide gas. And this gas can release to the atmosphere due to oxygen being saturated with the gas. It will cause mass extinction of plants, animals, and humans would need a gas mask to just survive breathing the air. One way to survive would be to build a doom structure to ride out the apocalypse. And this is a gradual thing. It needs massive amount to kill off all life form on Earth, but all oxygen breathing life on Earth. But it's already starting. So you can see that Atlantic Ocean is being there's a bit of hydrogen sulfide gas being released over here already on the dead zone. So this is happening right now on certain parts of the world, and this gas can only get worse if we don't do something about global warming. And this is the potential worst case scenario, that global warming goes out of control, and there's already a lot of positive feedback loops to ensure that once we hit a certain critical point, even if we go down to zero carbon, the positive feedback force from normal Earth-based scenario would ensure that global warming goes run away into ever increasing warm Earth. That's why we need geoengineering solutions already. Right. So the first point was to re-examine the first precepts. Now we go for the other points of how Buddhism encourages veganism. Any point you got questions, you can just ask. Right livelihood, avoid trading in meat and living beings. So this is a common thing that we learn in right livelihood. So we don't work as butcher, we don't work as people who transport living beings to the butchers. And even if you can talk to the truck drivers who drives all those living beings to be slaughtered somewhere in slaughterhouses, the truck drivers would feel quite bad because of the suffering of the living beings inside the truck who knows that they are about to be killed. So who kills the animals? Is it non-Buddhist? Since if every Buddhist practices livelihood, we all are not butchers. So who will become the butchers? Non-Buddhists. So is it hypocritical to have non-Buddhists to bear the bad karma for our taste buds? It sounds like it, isn't it? If we want the meat, why can't we just kill the animals ourselves? Why do we want to put the responsibility of killing an animal for others? If everybody who wants to eat meat had to kill the meat for themselves, there will be very, very few meat eaters. Mainly, our innate compassion would prevent us from wanting to kill the animal. How Buddhism encourages veganism on number 3. Okay, so this is a common thing that Theravada people really likes to quote to say that the Sangha can really eat meat. So let's examine this. Sangha cannot eat meat if they heard a sin or suspected that was killed for them. So this is from Jivika Sutta. Jivika, anyone who slaughters a living being specifically for a realized one disciple makes much bad karma for 5 reasons. When they say go fetch that living creature, this is the first reason. When the living creature experiences pain and sadness, as led along a Korah, this is second reason. When they say go slaughter that living creature, this is the third reason. When that living creature experiences pain and sadness, as it's being slaughtered, this is the fourth reason. When they provide the realized one or realized one's disciples with unallowable food, this is the fifth reason. Unallowable because the meat is killed for the Sangha. And so this is the Sangha has to be smart enough to be able to, if they don't see or hear the slaughter going on, they have to know, to suspect whether or not this meat is specially killed for them. So okay. So the main argument is that if it's not specifically killed for them, then the Sangha can eat. But practically speaking right now, this is not the same case as ancient times. So let's say ancient times, even if some disciples invite the Sangha to their house, say they will prepare a big banquet, buffet like that. Then in that buffet, if they purposely slaughter living creatures for that buffet to feed the Sangha, that would very much qualify under this prohibition. So we can safely assume that those ancient times when people invite the monks and Buddhas to their home, and they specifically know that this meal is specifically offered to the Sangha, they would make the meal vegan already because of this prohibition. So they cannot specifically kill living beings just to offer to the Sangha. So this is also the case of most of the food that we offer to Sangha in today's world. In today's world, let's say those tradition which has going arms round, most of the people already are at the side of the road, ready to wait to give their food to the Sangha. So when they cook the food, they already know that this food is specifically for the Sangha. And so one way that they can escape is that if they buy meat from the supermarket. But we already gone through that buying meat is just sort of indirect thing, because the meat in the industry is being killed for the one who buys, and the one who buys buy meat for the one who eats. So basically, in very indirect way, if you buy meat just to offer to the Sangha, that means you are sort of asking animals to be killed for them. It cannot be said specifically which animal, but in general sense, that is that kind of connection. So if you want to be very technical, that because you cannot specify which specific animals is being killed, therefore this practice can be allowed, then it's like very lawyer kind of based thing. It doesn't really goes to the spirit and goes to the common cause and effect assumptions to see that because we want to feed monks meat, therefore some animals are going to die. And Sangha themselves, they have to already see, hear and suspect all these things happening already. Since lay person nowadays specifically prepare food for the Sangha, is very much better to prepare only vegan food compared to any meat-based food in the same spirit. So as another way is to relax the condition for killed for them, because if let's say the Sangha seen or heard animal slaughtered videos, so this is something that is being mass. We don't know who is being killed for who, which animals are being killed for who to eat. This is a mass production of meat industry. So why should the specifically killed for who matter so much? If you are eating meat, you are producing demand. When you're producing demand, eventually there will be some animals that have been killed. So this is a generalized version to say that maybe the only meat that Sangha can really eat is roadkill, where the animals are not specifically killed for food or just happen to be there, or if they happen to pass by and the lay person who is eating meat didn't have any intention to offer, but when they see the monk, they want to generously arise, so they want to offer them food, then they only have meat to offer. So that is a second case where this is not specifically prepared for the Sangha. So these cases are the rarity rather than the norm. And I would support that we would just offer vegan food to the Sangha rather than not to offer that. And this is one thing that the Buddha gave to the Sangha, seen here suspected, but we can also adopt for ourselves so that we don't eat meat if we see, hear, or suspect that this meat is killed for us. And if we relax the condition for specifically which creature killed for who, then as soon as we already seen or heard an animal slaughter video, we would suspect that any meat that we eat, behind them there's some animals being killed. Then this is already basically putting the pure meat concept to all animals. But if this is one way to go to the spirit of it, rather than the lawyer literal word meaning of it. So it's very prone to debate, this one. But I would say I would rather go for the spirit of it and choose to see that this is a very, very big encompassing thing, that maybe the Buddha put this thing up so that people who have not closed the cognitive dissonance between meat and killing can eat meat without any guilt feeling. But if you have closed cognitive dissonance between meat means killing, then when you eat meat, there might be a bit of guilt feeling in there. From there, it's better not to eat meat already, because we don't want to have guilt feeling to have, so that we can meditate well. Okay, so another common objection is Devadatta's request to equate vegan promoters to Devadatta. So we know that Devadatta is sort of the bad guy, and he requests 5 additional rules. One of them is vegetarianism. So the Buddha didn't reject vegetarianism as a movement. He just doesn't want to make it compulsory, and he refers back to this Jivata Sutta, that he allows Sangha to eat meat if they have not seen, heard, or suspected that it was killed for them. This is the Buddha's reply. But he did not very clearly disallow Sangha to choose to be vegan themselves as well. So each Sangha can also choose to be vegan themselves. This is instead of the common argument to prevent people from choosing vegan by equating veganism with Devadatta, it should be seen as you can still choose veganism, even if in this case already happens. Beginningless rebirth and past life. So this is one common thing that we can see from Mahayana books. So the animals in our plate may be our past relatives and loved ones, and we ourselves may be animals already for many, many times. And we certainly don't like to be one of the animals that are being bred to be killed just for the meat. So due to this, by golden rule, should we allow this kind of thing to happen to other animals just for our taste buds? Current situation needs veganism to spread far and wide, different from Buddha's time, dependent origination for internet connected causal chains. And slavery used to be normal and legal. So this current situation is global warming. Interconnected causal chains is to see how attachment to meat eventually leads to a lot of animals being bred, eventually leads to a lot of methane is outputted and leads to global warming, a lot more suffering, a lot more deaths. And slavery used to be normal legal. Now we have animal slavery because these animals, billions of them, are being kept, being bred, being caged, being killed just for their output of meat. And now this is normal and legal. The slavery of animals just to be killed for meat is normal and legal in most places. Just as slavery of humanity used to be normal and legal. As scientists now is catching up, we already know that animals also are sentient beings, so they have capacity to feel suffering. A few years ago, scientists just signed a document that says, yeah, animals are capable of suffering, and this is not a good thing to do of slavery of animals just to kill them for food. So this is the implication of animals have consciousness, can suffer. Since we Buddhists already know that from the start point, we should not really encourage and normalize or legalize animal slavery like this. Okay, so another way, number 7, is what we already gone through on last few weeks, metta karuna. So loving kindness and compassion exercise towards animals meant for slaughterhouse. So when you wish all beings to be well and happy, including these pigs, then you see that there's some action that you can do. Compassion is not just to wish them to be free from suffering, but to actually act in a way to help them to be free from suffering. So that's the action that we can do to help reduce or eliminate animal suffering, which is to go vegan. The banning of, when you do the meditation of loving kindness and compassion towards these animals meant for slaughterhouse, this helps produce the emotional quality, not just the intellect quality that we so far has covered throughout the slides. This is the emotional motion that really helps us to move towards veganism, because humans, we are not really intellectual creatures, we are more emotional based creatures, and we follow feelings more. So this is one very, very important exercise if you want to go vegan, to practice loving kindness and compassion towards animals meant for slaughterhouse. So for all beings, including animals meant for slaughterhouse, so you can spend a few seconds or a few minutes specifically for this to generate that emotive connection so that you got the motivation to be able to go vegan. The banning of certain animals to the monks and nuns. So these animals are being banned for the consumption of monks and nuns. Human beings, elephants, horse, dogs, snakes, lions, tigers, leopards, bears, hyenas. And ignorance is not an excuse. So if the monks and nuns eat the meat, and they feel that, oh, this meat is not normal meat, this is something special, and they have to ask what is this meat after they eat it. This is not an excuse already. So they should ask what is this meat first. If this meat is one of these 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 meats that cannot be, 10 animals cannot be eaten, then the monks and nuns cannot eat this meat. The reason is that these meats, one of the reason is if you eat this meat, like tigers in the wild can smell it and they might hunt you, or that these are socially unacceptable animals to be killed and eaten. We see here dogs are socially unacceptable to be killed and eaten, and yes, you can see this is happening right now at China. When they have dog festival, the whole world is against it. But you don't see cats here. Funny, right? So we can add cats. If you see in social media anyone kill and eat cats, this is already something that is very disgusting. And we can certainly add more animals to the list. And why not add all of the animals? Pigs are smarter than dogs. Why do we discriminate against animals then? This is a starting point for us to realize that actually all animals are not really socially acceptable, because once the whole world goes vegan, this whole list is not just going to be 10 animals, it should be all animals already. Okay, so this, I got a few pictures. This is the dog festival where they capture stray dogs just to be killed for meat. And this is the cats version. So these are cats being slaughtered for meat. And you can see dead cats. Why should we see that chickens being slaughtered as normal and acceptable when we cannot accept dogs and cats being killed? Pretty misconception, okay? So some misconception needs to be clear. Vegan vegetarianism does not mean harmless diet, because industrial farming kills small animals like lambs, rabbits during harvesting, pesticides, etc. So, but it does reduce the total amount of animals being killed, as more crops is needed to feed animals to feed an human. And it helps to cool down the earth and reduces all the bad effects of climate change, which includes human lives lost, extinction of species. And how to be vegan? Reflect on the repulsiveness of meat, its rotting corpse. Watch Farm to Fridge, one of the vegan slaughter videos. Eliminate cognitive dissonance. Practice loving kindness to all animals. And go vegetarians as a start if you cannot go for full vegetarian. 1 day a week, go meatless. Gradually increase this. Took me 4 years for this, and from 99% vegetarian to vegetarian. 99%, that means 100 meals, 1 meal I eat meat only. Support vegetarian vegan restaurant, customized meal to be meat-free. Change sustainably, gradually if need be. Don't quit as a result of pushing too hard. Okay, so this is how to be vegan in a healthy way. So look at all the colors. Don't just eat green. Eat yellow, orange, red. Calcium-rich fruit of plant milk. You can see plant milk, soy milk. This is milk replacement. Legumes. Also all the beans, tofu, all these things. So grains, fruits, vegetables, greens, vegetables, etc. Plant-based diet, fruits, legumes, wholemeal, whole grains, vegetables, high-fat food, whole foods, leafy vegetable, greens. So you can just Google healthy vegan diet to get all this information. And instead of a normal food pyramid, there's meat over here. Instead of meat, we all put the veggies. High-fat whole foods, vegetables, whole grains, fruits, vegetables. Drink plenty of water and tea. Exercise at least 1 hour. Keep reflecting on the suffering caused by meat industry. Soon you'll find meat depressive and lose appetite for it. You no longer find it troublesome to find and cook customized vegan food. Society demands shapes the restaurant. Soon more vegetarian options are available. And it's possible for even babies and bodybuilders to start being vegan. Okay, so let's do the survey at the end of it. So how many of you are vegans, vegetarian, and flexitarian? You can type in the chat right now, or you plan to be, right? How many of you plan to be vegan, vegetarian, flexitarian right now after all this presentation? So that's the last slide already. Any questions, comments? Are you guys there?